Hi, friends. So it's your mortgage expert at Pevengog Mortgages, powered by NextUp. Today's guest speaker is my good friend Cheryl. Cheryl is with Trinity Credit Repair. Welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, Baven. Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah,
honored to be here.
it's a pleasure to have you. So the purpose of this video is to help first-time home buyers learn how they can prepare for buying a home and leveraging their credit. Ultimately, the interest rate you get is based on the credit score amongst other factors. So Cheryl, tell us, how does a person build credit?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And let me tell you, I am so honored that this lady right here, she loves helping people as well as Trinity. I'm Cheryl with Trinity Enterprises. We do nothing but credit. So when a person goes to build credit, the first thing to remember is that the moment you turned 18 years old, your credit profile started. So the credit profile is really based on, as a consumer, how you make money, how you use money. Remember, when you buy a car or you buy a home with Miss Pavin, we actually know that that builds payment history. But it's hard to really jumpstart. The reality is, it's hard to get one company to trust you when you're 18 years old. So, the way to build credit's really microwave credit right now. If you're listening to me and you're young, you're 18, you're 20 years old, or you are 30 years old already, and you need to really start looking to the future of how to actually set my family up for financial freedom in a home, you got to start with credit cards. The reality of it is, no matter how many installment loans you buy, cars, student loans, those actually expire. There's the starting point and an ending point. So when you want to build credit, it's based on really credit cards, because credit cards are what they call unsecured, are the most valuable way because it's based on your name. So if you're young and you are great relationship with your mom and dad, have them add you as an authorized user. As long as they're responsible, you will inherit their credit history. That's the fastest way to build credit, because credit is built over what? Time. So credit builds over time, but it's going to take you time and patience. That number one, when you start having credit, you pay it on time, you put it on auto pay, you're responsible, because that records into your future history. So, like, lenders like you can actually see how a consumer pays their bills and how trustworthy they are. So, build credit right away, no matter what it is. Start with credit cards if you can. That is the most, and we'll go and know more about how to apply for credit. But at the end of the day, credit cards are weighted against the score more heavily than student loans, car payments, or mortgages.
Perfect. And what are some common myths people have about credit?
That they don't need it. And no matter what it is about credit, you could say, hey, I want to buy a home, I'm going to pay half of it cash. The first thing the lenders are going to do is they're going to say, great, I got a great loan for you if you're going to pay cash or even half cash, but I need to pull your credit. The first thing you get when you actually get a car is that they want to get car insurance. They want to do what? Pull your credit. Everybody wants to relate how you are, because we as America are rated by what that number says on paper. So common myths about credit is that it don't matter, or is that I have a bad ding ding on my credit report. I have a collection. I'm just going to wait 7 years for it to fall off. Won't happen, especially if they understand that, yes, collections will start to age, but then every 2.5 years they'll resell. So don't have a myth that you don't need credit this day and age. With what you understand and what we understand, that everything is score driven. So visit your credit sooner than later. Get a company. If it's Trinity, great. Find a company that you can hold accountable to the success of the services. If monthly fee credit repair companies, typically no hope to ever finish. But does the company warranty what they do? And that warranty needs to be documented in some form of deletion, and actually getting the customer to an educational piece of how to actually use credit to buy a home and to secure a financial future for their family.
Yeah, that's really good insight. So, what are some ways someone who's new to the United States and they don't have credit, how can they build credit?
Well, first they got to get what's called an ITN number. So they can get an ITN number, and listen, it's the same thing as how a person builds credit. ITNs um, are, we have Capital One, we have Citi, First Premier, that will take a risk on most consumers based on how they answer questions. So if you're coming into the United States, welcome. I think it every time, I mean, people are coming from all over. The work ethic, I can tell you, is better than most of us here. I mean, really. But at the end of the day, they need to do the same process. They need to establish immediate credit because they're going to need to learn to use our financial system. Authorized user is one of the best ways. And they got to understand that at every company, it accepts ITN numbers. Okay. So while they're applying for their citizenship, they need to open a savings and a checking account. Typically, Bank of America, Wells Fargo's would do that, and Chase. We don't see like Fifth Third Bank doing that. Certain banks won't take ITN numbers. So, what type of bank is where you need to establish a relationship, open a checking and savings account, and then start filtrating their funds through there, and then start with their credit as well. Establishing a credit card is one of the fastest ways. So then they can move into the buying a car, buying a home. And usually the authorized user is the best way because it'll immediately generate a credit score. And remember, it's really important that ITN numbers know that when they come into the United States and they start establishing their credentials, that they won't be able to manage how they are on paper through a credit monitoring service like Credit Karma. They only be able to monitor that through real hard inquiry credit reports that lenders pull. Okay. So who you are matters when you're new, stability, employment, which you hear me say employment, because when you're ITN, self employment means you're a risk. So we got to really talk about that. Stability of address, employment, checking and savings account, and of course, documenting, that you can actually can be trusted for your future. So authorized users and how you answer questions and opening that first bank account too with check systems.
Oh, thank you. And how can someone who may have had identity theft, bankruptcies, or late payment, how can they rebuild their credit?
Perfect question. Listen, if you've had identity theft, bankruptcy, late payments, or frankly, just anything went wrong with your credit itself, first we have to identify what it is. Okay. If it's a identity theft, first thing you don't do is pay it. Number one, if it's really not yours, don't touch it. Hire a professional to really help you remove it because there's laws and statutes. And what you'll love about it is that the credit bureaus have all been data breached. There's so many companies that we as America that have social security numbers, we've had so many discrepancies with our personal information on the dark web. So removing the negatives, bankruptcy, late payments, all that has to be removed because remember, when you go to rebuild your credit, you're trusted as what the last record of the person that recorded against you. So when you go to buy a home, the first thing you're doing, Ms. Pavan, is that you are actually going to show how this consumer uses money. And is it recent? Is it old? Is it within 12 months of late payments? So we have to remove it. And listen, there's nothing too hard. As long as you're paying your bills today, Trinity Enterprises can actually get the negatives removed so you can start your life again and rebuilding your credit on paper and of course buying a home.
Yes. And last question, do you have any other advice for first-time home buyers that you can share?
Absolutely. When it comes to first time home buyers, it's about stability, connecting with a lender like you, Ms. Pavan, and being able to really identify the goal. What is the goal to buy a home? What do I need to do? My wife and I need to do to put in position. A lot of times, first home buyers just they live with mattress money. They don't start establishing bank relationships and depositing their payrolls into banks. So you're going to be looking for stability, and that's what your lenders look for. Who they are with credit, how they pay their bills. So when it comes to home buying, first time home buyers or just buying a home in general, make sure you start with an open and active bank account. Make sure you pay and don't overuse your bank account with overdrafts. We don't want to show hardship on our credit as well through our bank account. So get with a professional like Ms. Pavin and be able to get an understanding of timelines and goal settings. Everybody should buy a home regardless of the interest rate. There's no better investment because that will only increase in value as we get older. And of course, as that home grabs value.
Yes. Thank you so much, Cheryl. It was such a pleasure to have you and such great information.
Thank you so much.
Well,
I
folks, you
love it.
heard it here. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you know where to find Cheryl. She has, I'll share her information with you. And then if you have any questions, you can let me know as well. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.